Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Cotman, bringing you a video on the meta. I'll be going over what the meta actually is and how does it impact both new and older players and the history behind it. So without further ado, let's get started. So the meta I'm going to be talking about today mostly resides in Summoner's Rift, as there really is no meta for the Howling Abyss, as it's pretty much just a random roll on whatever champions that you have. Dominion's more of just have high mobility champions and secure objectives. And for Twisted Treeline, I'll be getting in depth on that in another video, as the whole dynamic of team compositions in the map is completely different from Summoner's Rift, and would take a large amount of time. So let's say you're a new player, and you start out playing the game, you just got done with the tutorial, and you start to play some Summoner's Rift games. And a couple of games in, you're starting to get the hang of it. You play the champions that are free, because you don't have any other means of obtaining them at the moment. And as you keep on playing and getting higher in summoner levels, you start to come across more people. And some of these people start to question why you do these actions, why you pick these champions when they clearly have the specific role covered. And without having a chance to clarify that you're a new player and you don't really know anything, they start to flame you. They start to get so angry that you pick this champion, not considering the fact that other people. And based on these specific roles, there will always be champions that are better off than others just due to their kit alone. But that's too advanced for right now. If you're starting the game and you're still trying to understand what this meta is, this is going to try to be the absolute basic way of telling you what the meta is. So back in DreamHack of 2011, League of Legends was first able to enter within the tournament and had their first couple of winners. Not only was this important to League of Legends becoming popular as a game, it was also important due to the fact that this was the foundation for which the professional players developed the meta. There really was no name for the strategy that they used, and over time, as the casual players started to increasingly get involved with looking at how the professional level players play, the strategies that they use, it became a loose term for what everybody soon had to follow. The strategy was so good, however, that the professional teams that actually got this strategy down took the other teams out with ease. And ever since this DreamHack, teams have been developing the meta, putting new champions into certain roles, taking some out, and switching up the overall play style of how League is played. So now let's talk about the basics of what this strategy is. A good place to start is the bottom lane. The bottom lane has two champions that can go within it, and that be a support and an AD carry. Essentially what this lane is for the support to not get any minion kills, only get their gold off of gold per 5, which they can get by masteries, runes, items, and help their AD carry get all the gold necessary to buy the higher end items. And this is necessary due to the fact that AD carries scale extremely well with items, not levels. So having that extra person that leeches experience doesn't mean all that much. So what are some champions that can go in bot lane? A couple examples of ones that you can buy early on are Soraka and Ashe. Soraka is a more defensive champion that can have a lot of sustain for both the AD carry and the support in lane to stay in there for a long time, as Ashe is a AD carry that's also sort of defensive. The next lane to talk about is mid lane, and mid lane typically is where you put your mage champion as they scale better with levels and not gold because they use the base damage on their abilities. So an example of a mage that you can get early on would be Veigar. He's extremely effective late in the game to completely 100 to 0 someone that's high priority due to the amount of damage that he could deal. The last lane to talk about is top lane, and top lane is where you want to put your beefy slash durable slash sustained champions that can pretty much stay there for long periods of time without any help, as they're further away from early game objectives such as dragon and taking down mid turret. A champion that can get early on that will be effective at doing this role would be Garen. Garen can stay in a lane indefinitely if he wanted to because of his passive giving him health regen, and he'll be durable because his W gives him armor and magic resist. Now there is one more role that you can fill, however I wouldn't suggest you playing this role until about level 5 to level 10, as the role can be pretty intense if you don't have the right runes or masteries. And a good champion for the jungle role would be Nunu. Nunu is an excellent jungler early on in summoner levels, as he doesn't really require runes and masteries due to the fact that his Q ability is essentially a second smite, allowing easy clear times and a good enough sustain through his Q to not be whittled down so low in health that he has to constantly go back to base. One of the jungler's main tasks is to help any lane if they need help due to them falling behind against a lane opponent. And at the same time, if there's no lanes to help out, the best option is to clear your jungle and go into the other jungler's jungle and take their camps, and then move over to neutral monsters such as Dragon or Baron. So some of you might be questioning whether or not this is better than the thing that I have been doing, which is having 2 people top, 1 person mid, and 2 people bottom. I mean, what's wrong with that? The game doesn't tell me that I have to do the strategy that the professionals use, so why is it so important? Unfortunately, if you want to become better at the game and go into ranked one day, this strategy is something that everybody needs to know. So to help you guys understand why the meta is so important, let me make an example of champion levels at 8 minutes. So 8 minutes into your match, champions at top lane and bottom lane are at level 4, and your mid lane's at level 6. If everyone to just group up and go into the jungle or push mid lane as a team, the only people that would have access to their ultimates were the mid laners. Now in some situations that could be good, but it's not necessarily the best optimal way of splitting experience between your team members. So let's say we were using the meta strategy, we were going to push down mid, and we have 3 people that are level 6 and only 2 people that are level 4. So now 3 people have their ultimate abilities instead of 1, and only 2 people are still level 4. So if the team that was using the meta strategy would go up against the team that was using this standard play that people get accustomed to when first starting out League of Legends, the team that would be using the meta strategy would win due to the fact that they have their ultimate abilities for fighting. But essentially what all of this means is that you're effectively splitting up experience between your team members to get levels faster, and by giving these levels faster, you obtain your ultimate abilities and try to fight the enemy team and push down objectives. As always, if there's anything I can do to improve on, add in, or if the video's fine, let me know in the comments below. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.